Success is not an accident. It is built piece by piece through daily habits and an unshakable commitment to responsibility. One of the most fundamental aspects of success is how you start your day. Waking up with purpose is not just about getting out of bed. It is about setting the tone for everything that follows. It is about deciding from the very moment your eyes open that you will engage with life fully rather than merely drifting through it. If you do not wake up with intention, then you are leaving the course of your day and by extension your life to chance. And that is a dangerous game to play. When you wake up in the morning, you are faced with a choice. Do you lie there indulging in comfort, pushing back the responsibilities of the day, or do you rise with determination, ready to face the world? The way you answer this question consistently will define the trajectory of your life. There is a simple but profound truth. People who wake up with purpose tend to be the ones who succeed, while those who start their day aimlessly often struggle. Why? Because how you begin your morning is a reflection of your relationship with discipline, responsibility, and ambition. If you allow yourself to start the day passively, then you are already setting a precedent for passivity in everything else you do. Consider this: if you cannot even get out of bed with determination, how can you expect to handle greater challenges? Life is full of struggles, many of which are unexpected, unfair, and deeply difficult. Strength is not something you simply summon when you need it. It is something you cultivate every single day. And one of the first places to cultivate it is in the seemingly simple act of getting out of bed and facing the day with intent. When you refuse to be ruled by laziness or hesitation in that first moment, you are training yourself to be the kind of person who takes action despite discomfort. A person who wakes up with purpose does not waste the morning scrolling through their phone or lingering in bed. Instead, they rise with a clear sense of direction. They understand that time is not an infinite resource and that each morning presents a fresh opportunity to move closer to their goals. And goals, after all, are essential. If you have no aim, no target to move toward, then you are like a ship drifting without a rudder. You may end up somewhere, but it will likely not be where you want to be. Purpose requires direction, and direction requires clarity. One of the biggest obstacles to waking up with purpose is the human tendency toward comfort. The bed is warm. Sleep is appealing. The world outside is uncertain and full of potential difficulties. But comfort is not the goal. Meaning is the goal. Success is the goal. And meaning does not come from indulging in ease. It comes from engaging in challenges that matter. The more you give into the temptation of staying in bed a little longer, delaying responsibility, the weaker your discipline becomes. And discipline is one of the greatest predictors of success. This is not to say that sleep is unimportant. On the contrary, proper rest is crucial for both mental and physical well-being. But there is a difference between getting sufficient sleep and using sleep as an escape from the demands of life. If you find yourself dreading the moment you have to get up, then you need to ask yourself why. What is it about your life, your work, or your goals that makes waking up feel like a burden rather than an opportunity? If you are living in a way that makes you want to avoid the day ahead, that is a sign that something needs to change. And change begins with taking responsibility for yourself. One of the best ways to wake up with purpose is to establish a morning routine that reinforces clarity and discipline. Before you go to bed, decide what your priorities for the next day will be. Write them down. When you wake up, remind yourself why these things matter. Instead of reaching for your phone or lying in bed wondering how you feel about the day, take immediate action. Get up, make your bed, move your body, hydrate. Start your day with something that reinforces your commitment to productivity, whether it is reading, journaling, or setting clear intentions. The point is to engage with the day proactively rather than reactively. Another critical aspect of waking up with purpose is having something meaningful to wake up for. If you are constantly struggling to get out of bed, it may not just be a lack of discipline, it may be a lack of motivation stemming from a deeper issue. Are you working towards something that excites and challenges you? Do you have a vision for your life that is compelling enough to pull you forward? If not, then that is where you need to start. A life without purpose is a life of quiet despair. But purpose does not simply emerge out of nowhere. It is something you must create. You must define your goals, clarify your values, and take responsibility for becoming the kind of person who lives in alignment with those values. When you wake up with purpose, you are not just starting your day, you are reinforcing an identity. You are telling yourself, I am someone who moves forward, who does not shrink from responsibility, who takes control of their life. And that identity will shape every other decision you make. It is a small but significant act that sets the stage for everything that follows. So tomorrow morning, when your alarm goes off, recognize that moment for what it is. It is not just another morning. It is another opportunity to strengthen your discipline, to reinforce your commitment to your goals, and to move one step closer to the life you want. The world does not wait for those who hesitate. It rewards those who act. Wake up with purpose, and the rest of your life will follow suit. Truth is the foundation of a well-ordered life. Without it, everything you build is fragile, vulnerable to collapse under the weight of deception, confusion, and self-delusion. Speaking the truth, especially to yourself, is one of the hardest yet most necessary disciplines you can develop. It is not just about avoiding outright lies. It is about ensuring that your words and thoughts align with reality, no matter how uncomfortable that reality may be. Truth is often painful, but the alternative, living in falsehood, is far worse. When you deceive yourself, you create a distorted version of the world, one where real progress becomes impossible. Only by confronting the truth can you truly move forward, grow, and become the person you are meant to be. Self-deception is one of the most dangerous habits a person can develop. It is easy to lie to yourself, to justify laziness, weakness, or failure by creating excuses that absolve you of responsibility. You tell yourself that things are fine when they are not. You convince yourself that your problems are someone else's fault, that the obstacles you face are insurmountable, or that you are powerless to change your circumstances. But these are illusions. They might bring temporary comfort, but they prevent you from addressing the real issues in your life. The longer you avoid the truth, the worse your situation becomes, and eventually reality will force its way through, often in a far more painful and destructive way than if you had confronted it earlier. Speaking the truth to yourself requires brutal honesty. It means looking at yourself objectively, without allowing ego or fear to cloud your judgment. Are you living up to your potential? Are you avoiding difficult but necessary actions? Are you holding on to beliefs that no longer serve you? These are not easy questions to ask, but they are essential. Growth begins when you stop lying to yourself about who you are and what you need to do. When you accept reality as it is, you can start making real changes. Telling yourself the truth also means recognizing your flaws, not in a way that leads to self-hatred, but in a way that allows for correction and improvement. Everyone has weaknesses. Some people are undisciplined, some are fearful, some are prone to anger or self-pity. Ignoring these flaws does not make them disappear, it only makes them stronger. But when you acknowledge them truthfully, you gain the power to change them. The process is uncomfortable because it requires admitting that you are not as good as you could be. But that discomfort is the price of transformation. If you want to become stronger, more capable, and more successful, you must first be willing to see yourself clearly. Another essential aspect of speaking the truth to yourself is setting honest goals. Many people set goals that they do not truly believe in or that are not aligned with their values. They chase things because society, family, or peers tell them they should. They pursue careers, relationships, or lifestyles that are not truly fulfilling and then wonder why they feel empty. If you want a meaningful life, you must be honest about what you truly want. Not what you think you should want, not what others expect from you, but what actually brings you a sense of purpose and fulfillment. This requires deep introspection and the willingness to reject paths that are not right for you. Speaking the truth to yourself also applies to how you interpret past failures. It is easy to make excuses, to blame external factors, or to convince yourself that circumstances were beyond your control. But taking responsibility for your failures is one of the most powerful things you can do. When you acknowledge that your mistakes were the result of your own actions, you gain the ability to correct them in the future. You cannot change what you refuse to admit. By facing your past with honesty, you equip yourself with the knowledge needed to do better next time. It is important to recognize that telling the truth does not mean being cruel to yourself. There is a difference between honesty and self-destruction. Some people mistake self-criticism for self-improvement. But beating yourself down with negativity is just another form of distortion. The goal is not to attack yourself. It is to see yourself clearly so that you can take meaningful action. You should be honest about your shortcomings, but also about your strengths. Acknowledge the progress you have made, the challenges you have overcome, and the qualities that make you valuable. The truth is not just about seeing what is wrong. It is also about recognizing what is right and using that as a foundation for further growth. Developing the habit of truthfulness with yourself also strengthens your ability to be truthful with others. When you are honest about who you are, you do not have to hide behind a false persona. You do not have to pretend to be something you are not, or seek validation through deception. This makes you more trustworthy, more confident, and more capable of forming genuine connections with those around you. People are drawn to authenticity. And when you speak and live truthfully, you create an environment where honesty and integrity thrive. Living by the truth also means resisting the temptation to twist reality to fit your desires. It is easy to tell yourself that things are better than they are, that you are doing enough when you are not, or that your flaws do not need to be addressed. But reality does not bend to your will. The world is what it is, and your best strategy is to align yourself with it rather than trying to manipulate it with convenient lies. Truth is sometimes harsh, but it is always the most reliable foundation to build upon. If you construct your life on falsehoods, eventually everything will come crashing down. But if you build on truth, you create something that can withstand the difficulties of life. Speaking the truth to yourself is not a one-time decision. It is a lifelong practice. It requires constant vigilance, the willingness to challenge your own beliefs. It means holding yourself accountable, making adjustments when necessary, and striving to align your actions with what is real rather than what is convenient. It is difficult, but it is also the path to strength, clarity, and true success. When you commit to truth, especially within yourself, you equip yourself with the most powerful tool for growth, resilience, and achievement. Life is full of challenges, and success is determined by how you approach them. Every day presents a choice. Do you confront the difficult tasks head on, or do you avoid them hoping they will somehow disappear? The answer to this question is a defining factor in the trajectory of your life. The principle is simple but profoundly impactful. It is a strategy that not only enhances productivity, but also builds discipline, resilience, and a mindset that embraces challenge rather than recoiling from it. Difficult tasks are often the ones that matter most. They are the things that require effort, concentration, and a degree of discomfort. Yet, they are also the things that lead to the greatest progress. Whether it is an important work assignment, a difficult conversation, a physical challenge, or a personal goal that requires sacrifice, these tasks tend to carry a weight that makes them easy to procrastinate. But delaying them does not make them disappear. In fact, procrastination amplifies stress, diminishes confidence, and makes the task seem even more daunting than it actually is. When you push off what is difficult, it lingers in your mind. You carry it with you throughout the day like a heavy weight, slowing you down. Even if you try to focus on other tasks, there is a nagging awareness in the back of your mind that something important is being neglected. This mental burden drains energy and reduces effectiveness in everything else you do. The more you delay, the more resistance builds, making the task feel insurmountable. The irony is that most of the time, the task itself is not as bad as the mental anguish caused by avoiding it. The solution is to tackle the hardest thing first. The moment you do this, you take control. Instead of letting the task control you, you assert dominance over your day. You prove to yourself that you are someone who takes action, someone who does not shy away from responsibility. This builds momentum. When you complete a difficult task early, the rest of the day feels lighter by comparison. You move forward with a sense of accomplishment, which fuels motivation for everything else on your list. Doing the most difficult task first is not just about efficiency, it is about character. The ability to face discomfort without hesitation is a defining trait of successful people. Life is full of moments that demand courage, and those who succeed are the ones who have conditioned themselves to meet difficulty head on. Every time you choose to tackle a challenge rather than avoid it, you reinforce the habit of action. This habit becomes a fundamental part of who you are, influencing the way you approach everything in life. There's also a psychological advantage to facing the hardest task first. Willpower is a finite resource. Studies have shown that as the day progresses, decision fatigue sets in and self-discipline weakens. If you leave the most difficult task for later, there is a high chance it will not get done at all. The excuses will pile up, distractions will seem more tempting, and by the time you get around to it, your energy will be depleted. By contrast, when you do it first, you are attacking it when your mind is sharpest and your willpower is strongest. This principle applies to all areas of life. In fitness, it means doing the hardest workout first, when your body is at its peak energy level. In business, it means tackling the most challenging project at the start of the day rather than filling the morning with busy work. In personal development, it means addressing weaknesses directly rather than avoiding them. And in relationships, it means having difficult conversations sooner rather than later, preventing problems from festering. A common reason people avoid difficult tasks is fear of failure, fear of discomfort, or fear of not being good enough. But fear only grows stronger when it is not confronted. When you face a difficult task head on, you send a message to yourself that you are capable of handling adversity. This strengthens confidence and resilience. The more you practice this, the more you develop the mindset of someone who is unfazed by challenge. Instead of seeing difficult tasks as obstacles, you start to see them as opportunities for growth. It is also important to recognize that success is built through consistent action. One great effort is not enough. What matters is the ability to show up every day and do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. There will be days when motivation is low, when excuses seem valid, and when the temptation to delay is strong. But these are the moments that define you. The choice to push through discomfort, to take action even when it is hard, is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who do not. One of the best ways to implement this habit is through planning. Each evening, identify the most difficult task for the following day. Write it down. When you wake up, do not waste time debating whether or not you feel like doing it. Remove the choice, make it automatic, begin immediately before hesitation has a chance to take hold. This eliminates the mental battle and allows you to operate with clarity and focus. As you make this a habit, something interesting happens. You start to crave challenge. You begin to enjoy the process of tackling difficult things because you associate it with growth and achievement. Instead of avoiding hard work, you seek it out. This is the mindset of high performers. They do not wait for things to get easier. They make themselves stronger. They do not shy away from discomfort. They lean into it. And in doing so, they create a life of meaning, success, and fulfillment. If you want to succeed, stop avoiding the difficult things. Stop letting procrastination steal your time and energy. Do the hardest thing first. Face it head on. Master it. Not only will your productivity skyrocket, but you will also develop the kind of discipline and resilience that turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Words are not just sounds we make. They are the very foundation of how we shape our reality. The way we speak influences how we think, how others perceive us, and ultimately the direction of our lives. Choosing your words carefully is not just about being articulate or sounding intelligent. It is about taking responsibility for what you say, understanding the weight of language, and using it to build rather than to destroy. The words you choose have consequences, and the more conscious you are of them, the more control you have over your interactions, your mindset, and your future. Many people speak carelessly, saying whatever comes to mind without considering the impact of their words. This is a mistake. Every word you utter carries meaning, and meaning shapes perception. If you speak vaguely, your thoughts will be vague. If you speak cynically, your worldview will be cynical. If you consistently use negative language, your life will be overshadowed by negativity. But if you choose words that are precise, honest, and constructive, you begin to create a world in which clarity, truth, and progress are possible. Precision in speech is one of the greatest indicators of a disciplined mind. When you are imprecise with your words, you invite misunderstanding and confusion, both internally and externally. If you cannot clearly articulate what you think or feel, how can you expect others to understand you? Worse, how can you understand yourself? Many people struggle with anxiety, indecision, or dissatisfaction, not because their problems are unsolvable, but because they have never taken the time to articulate them properly. When you do not put your thoughts into clear words, they remain abstract and elusive, making it nearly impossible to take effective action. One of the most destructive habits a person can develop is speaking in a way that distorts the truth. Lying, whether to yourself or to others, is one of the surest ways to invite chaos into your life. Every time you lie, you detach yourself from reality. You build a false world that is bound to collapse because it does not align with what is real. This applies not just to major deceptions, but to small ones as well. Exaggerations, half-truths, or misleading statements. The moment you stop telling the truth, you weaken your ability to see things as they are. And when you can no longer see clearly, you can no longer act effectively. Truth, spoken clearly, is what allows for real progress. It is also crucial to recognize the power of words in shaping relationships. The way you speak to others determines the quality of your connections. Words can heal or harm, encourage or discourage, unite or divide. If you constantly criticize, insult, or dismiss those around you, you will create an environment of hostility and resentment. On the other hand, if you speak with sincerity, respect, and kindness, you will cultivate relationships built on trust and mutual support. This does not mean avoiding hard truths. It means delivering them in a way that is constructive rather than destructive. Your internal dialogue is just as important as your external communication. The way you speak to yourself sets the tone for your self-perception and confidence. If you constantly tell yourself that you are not good enough, that you are doomed to fail, or that you are incapable, you will begin to act as if these things are true. But if you consciously choose words that reinforce resilience, capability, and growth, you will begin to embody those qualities. Your mind listens to the language you use, and it adjusts accordingly. Speaking carefully does not mean becoming overly cautious or robotic. It means developing the habit of thinking before you speak, ensuring that your words align with reality, and using language to build rather than to tear down. It means avoiding unnecessary negativity, eliminating thoughtless speech, and committing to saying what you mean in a way that is both clear and truthful. It means recognizing that every word is an opportunity to clarify your thoughts, to strengthen your relationships, and to shape your future. In practical terms, choosing your words carefully requires effort and awareness. It involves pausing before responding, ensuring that what you say is both accurate and necessary. It means avoiding gossip and complaints that serve no purpose other than to spread negativity. It means rejecting victimized language that strips you of responsibility and instead using words that empower you to take control. It means resisting the urge to fill silence with meaningless chatter and instead speaking with intention. This practice also extends to writing. Whether it is an email, a text, or a journal entry, written words hold power as well. Many misunderstandings arise from careless written communication, where tone and meaning are lost in vague or hasty phrasing. Taking the time to write with precision and clarity can prevent conflict, enhance understanding, and reinforce your credibility. One of the most effective ways to improve your ability to choose words carefully is to read. Reading exposes you to well-structured language, sharpens your vocabulary, and expands your ability to express complex ideas with accuracy. The more you engage with precise, thoughtful language, the more you will develop the ability to use it yourself. Similarly, engaging in meaningful conversations with articulate people will refine your own speech and encourage greater depth in your thinking. Ultimately, choosing your words carefully is about discipline, self-awareness, and respect. For yourself, for others, and for the truth. Words are not trivial. They are tools. And like any tool, they can be used skillfully to build something great or clumsily to cause harm. The more mastery you develop over your language, the more control you gain over your thoughts, your actions, and your destiny. Speak with clarity, speak with truth, and speak with purpose. Because the words you choose today will shape the reality you live in tomorrow.